Short run production function. How do we define short run? In the short run, at least one factor of production is fixed, let's say capital. You cannot change capital very quickly. The only factor that you can change is labor. When we talk about short run production function, we need to take into account that it enables the firms to take immediate action to respond to situations such as short term changing demand, change in prices, or any other market situation. For example, in times of corona, the demand for oximeter had risen rapidly. So the organizations, the firms, they had to meet that demand, for which they had to change one factor of production, which may be labor, and then they started producing more of it. Oximeter may not be the right example here, but just to highlight the situation, I gave that example, which was from a real life scenario. However, this change in one factor of production is a tactic. Tactic is something which is used in a short term, and whatever we use in the long term is called strategy. Tactic cannot be used in the long run to achieve long term objectives. It is restricted to short term. So, the tactic that they use by varying certain factor of production in the short run cannot be continued for the longer period of time. It is just a response to a temporary situation. Now, when we talk about costs in the short run, we talk about fixed cost, variable costs, and total cost. Fixed cost is that cost which will stay fixed and will not change with output. For example, rent means no matter whether you are producing 0 units or 10,000 units, the rent of the factory or the office stays the same. Even if the factory is closed down and there is production of 0 units, people would have to pay rent. That is why it is called fixed cost. When we talk about variable cost in changes with the output. For example, more labor is required to produce more units, more raw material is required to produce more units. Total cost is the sum of fixed cost and variable cost. When we talk about average fixed cost is fixed cost divided by output or quantity. Variable cost is variable cost divided by output or quantity. Average total cost is total cost divided by output or quantity. Marginal cost is also called incremental cost. And what is marginal cost? Marginal cost is the cost of producing one more unit. Now let's talk about production function. What is a production function? Production is a function of factors of production. Means production takes place when some input from factors of production is taken in. And let's keep all the inputs constant while varying only one input, which is labor, in the short run, right? Example, these are the units of labor that are input to produce something. Total product that we get is this. Marginal product that we get is this. Marginal product of 0 units is obviously 0. Total product here is 0. Now, when 1 unit of labor is put in, 10 units of total product are produced and there is no incremental product, so the marginal product is also 10. But at 2 units, we see that total product is 18. So marginal product will be 18 minus 10, which is 8. For 3 units of labor, we have 24 total units. So marginal product will be 24 minus 18. Which product is 10 upon 1, which is input, to 18 upon 2, which is input. 2 is input, 18 upon 2 is 9, and 24 upon 3 is 8. That is average product. Now we see that for product, we are looking at input in the denominator. But in the cost, we are looking at output in the denominator. So product comes out of inputs and cost is calculated when output is generated. That is why there's a difference between the denominator of average costs, all types of average costs, and average product. Talking about short run production function, we have to talk about law of diminishing marginal returns, which is also known as law of variable proportions. The law suggests that as we put one more unit of input, the incremental output would eventually begin to decrease. For example, this is called law of variable proportions because if you have 10 units of land and you have 1 unit of labor, you will generate a certain output. But if you have 10 units of land, because it is constant and only one factor of production can vary in the short run, which is labor, if you input one more unit of labor, the proportion changes from 10 is to 1, it becomes 5 is to 1. This is law of variable proportions. In certain cases, what happens is that you double the inputs, but the output increases only by 60%. This is law of variable proportions. It did not increase in exact proportion, means when you double the input, the output did not double. It increased exactly by 60%. There can be a scenario where the output doubles, but that is achieved in the long run, not in the short run, right? So law of variable proportion suggests that in the short run, when you vary one factor of production such as labor, the proportion of this factor with other factors changes and it does not remain the same, which has an impact on the output. Now, in such a case, for example, if you are putting in more units of labor, industry where they require a lot of labor to work on machines, the machines are not free and the labor is waiting, the labor is sitting idle, obviously the productivity is coming down and eventually incremental output would be less. This is a very logical and practical scenario. So we can see in this case that as labor input is increasing 1 unit at a time, total product will increase, but the incremental increase is going to be smaller with every product. Eventually, incremental product or the marginal product will become negative. We can observe this relationship graphically as well. Let's have a look at it graphically. We'll observe it in the same way when we observe marginal cost and total cost, right? Total product keeps increasing till the point marginal product is increasing. This is stage 1. Marginal product keeps increasing, then total product increases at an increasing rate. This is called stage 1. As the marginal product starts decreasing, total product still increases but increases at a decreasing rate. This is stage 2. What is increasing at a decreasing rate? Increasing at a decreasing rate means that the marginal product of production is positive, but it's decreasing with the increase in variable output. That means that is meant by increasing at a decreasing rate. Total product starts declining when marginal product becomes negative. This is called stage 3. We can plot average product also on the same graph. It will look something like this. Total product is maximum at B, where marginal product is equals to 0. Total product increases till C. Here, in this case, we can see when marginal product is greater than average product increases. When marginal product is less than average product starts declining. So the relationship between total product and marginal product is that when marginal product increases, total product increases at an increasing rate. When marginal product starts decreasing, total product increases at a decreasing rate. Total product starts declining where marginal product is zero. For marginal product and average product, you need to see that when marginal product is greater than average product, we can see that marginal product curve is above average product increases. When marginal product is less than average product, it is below the average product curve, average product decreases. These are the things that you need to remember while answering questions where you have to draw the graph. But the question is that which stage should the companies operate at? Whether they should operate at stage 1, they should operate at stage 2, or they should operate at stage 3. As a rational firm, the optimal utilization of both the fixed and variable inputs would take place only in stage 2 of the law of variable proportion. That is the only time when all the inputs are used in an economical way. Moreover, MP and AP of both the inputs are positive yet diminishing. Whereas if a firm operates in the first stage, the marginal product of the fixed input, which may be land, is still in a negative form. This is because the lesser units of labor would be using the land in large proportion, thereby yielding no marginal product. When we plot